Hello everyone, this is Raksha from Mission Defense Institute, and I'm here to share some of the reflections of questions of CDSE, which was held on 16 April 2023. That is a reflection of questions is covering both the biology and chemistry. So together, when we take a look on the science part, it covers 30 questions. The science category covers 30 questions. The 30 questions, physics for 10 marks, and for this examination, both bio and chemistry together, 20 questions have been taken for the examination. And in this 20, among the 20, 13 questions have been reflected based on our institute materials and weekend test examinations and also PPTs and etc. Now let's discuss some of the reflections of questions which has been replicated for the examination. So here comes the first questions, that is hydrogen bomb and uranium bomb or base. These are all the topics which was suggested for the seminar, and it is given for the students. And among this topic, the questions have been reflected exactly the same one, that is the answer is fission and thermonuclear. These are all similarly, these questions have been replicated in the NDA pattern also, NDA examination also, which we have conducted the weekend test examinations for NDA. And this question, xylem is a type of complex tissues in plants for upward conduction. So when we talk about the xylem, both conducting the water conduction tissues, so it also covers in the Mission Defense Institute PPT. That is the slide number is 114. So this has been exactly replicated. So here, when I talk about the reflections of questions out of 2013, so it covers almost 65% out of 100, right? So here again, the plant cells RNA, again, this has been replicated as Mission Defense PPT, that is slide number 4. And here comes the question, that is the pH value. The pH value is the chapter based on acid, base, and salts. And here comes the pH. So this also has been taught in the class, and the PPT, it's the slide covers in 149. And the thyroid stimulating hormone, generally we discussed this topic based on the PPT slide. And also we have covered the general studies also, the endocrine glands, what are the endocrine, which are the factors which covers the endocrine glands and so on. So here again, this part covers in the slide number 64, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, and here comes the rancidity. So we have also covered what is the oxidation reaction and so on. And here comes the naphthalene, that is sooty flame. And here is a quick climb and the slate climb. So this has been generally taught for every aspects of weekend test examination classes and also general studies as well. So this again, it comes under the category of PPT, that is slide number 134. And here comes the brown fumes of NO. This has been replicated both in the NDA weekend test exam as well as the material, and also it covers under the CDS also. And here comes the red blood cells. So when we talk about this category of questions, it covers based on the diffusion pattern, that is isotonic, hypertonic, and hypotonic. Based on the cells, we have the similar pattern which is reflected as isotonic question. So this also covers in the transportations of cell. And here comes this question of magnesium treatment. This is often asked in the NDA exam as well as the CDS exam. And now it has been reflected in the PPT, that is slide number based on 110. And this is the important question, that is blood pressure of a normal human being. This is also being discussed in the general classes, and it is given as a weekend test examination, that is based on the pumping action of the heart, and the rhythmic contraction is based on the relaxation and contraction. So again, it covers under the slide 126, and here comes the bile, about the bile secreted by the liver. So this is also being discussed, and it is asked in the weekend areas, weekend test examinations. And let's now discuss some of the serious exam questions and answers. Right, I have told you that 20 questions has been carried for biology and chemistry. Now let's discuss about these 20 questions. So now let's move on to first question. That is, a sprinter feels cramps and pain in the thigh muscles after a run. This is due to the accumulation of, can you suggest which will be the correct answer? Yes, it is lactic acid. Because we know that during an intense exercise, right? What happens is that the body's demand for energy start to increase and oxygen supply to the muscle may not be sufficient, right? So this may lead to anaerobic respiration. So what happens is that this produces a lactic acid as a byproduct, right? So now what happens is that they start to build up in the muscles and cause this cramps and pain. Okay. So next question. Next question is a leaf was plucked from a plant on a sunny day and kept for 2 minutes in boiling water. It was subsequently immersed in boiling alcohol and treated with iodine solution. What will be the final color of the leaf after the test? Yes, obviously the answer is colorless. What is the change is that we know that the final color of the leaf after the test will most likely to be colorless. Why is it the case? Because imagine that when you're plucking the leaf and exposing it to a boiling water, what happens is that it causes the cells to rupture, right? And also it releases some of the chlorophyll. So this will result in the loss of green color, right? So again, the boiling alcohol treatment would have removed any remaining chlorophyll. Then again, it leaves behind only the other pigments, right, which are said to be colorless or may appear brownish in nature. So what happens is that the iodine solution is used to test for the presence of starch in the leaf, so which would appear as a blue-black color. However, the leaf is only immersed in the boiling alcohol and it is not boiled it. So it is unlikely will be having some enough starch present in it. So therefore, the final color of the leaf after the test is most likely colorless. So next question is, if the red blood cells of human blood are isolated and are diluted in normal saline, what will happen to the RBCs? So we know that when we talk about the RBC of human blood, these are isolated and diluted. Why? Why? Because we know that uh, there are there will be no change in the diameters of the RBCs. Why is it? Because normal saline will be having the same concentration of solutes, right? So what happens is that there is no net movement of water molecules into to enter or to leave out of the RBC. So as a result, these RBCs they will be maintaining their shape and size as well, right? And next question is, which one of the following statements regarding bile secreted by liver is not correct? So here when we talk about the statement, so exactly the answer will be bile neutralizes the acidic pH of the food coming from stomach. So now let's see the reason. Because we know that bile is a fluid, right? So bile is a fluid here. So it is secreted by the liver, right? And also it is stored in the gallbladder. Stored in the gallbladder. It plays an important role in the digestion as well as the absorption of some fats in the small intestine. Right? So when we check the first statement, that is the bile contains enzymes. So we know that the enzymes such as lipase that aid in the digestion of lipids, right? Lipids, lipids. And when we took the case study of statement 2, that is B, bile facilitates some emulsification of fats. That is nothing but breaking them down into a smaller droplet so that it may be easily digested by the lipase. So what about the fourth condition? That is the bile makes the pH of the food. So it will be making the pH in the small intestine. It will be in alkaline nature. That helps to neutralize the acidic kind that comes from the stomach, right? So what happens is that this alkaline environment is necessarily it is preparing some action of pancreatic enzymes, right? So they will also aid in the digestion of lipids, carbohydrates, and proteins. So therefore, we would suggest that option C is right. That is bile neutralizes the acidic pH of food that comes from the stomach. So because this is correct when regarding of the bile, right? Sorry, it's not correct when regarding of the bile. And when we And now let's see the next question. That is, the blood pressure of a normal human being is found to be 120/80 mmHg. These numbers represent the blood pressure. So generally we know that when we talk about 120/80, it is nothing but the systolic and diastolic pressure, right? That is represented in blood pressure. That is, it is measured in sphygmomanometer. So we know that these numbers represent the blood pressure. So here, when we discuss the blood pressure is a force is exerted by the circulatory system, right? So what happens is that when the blood pressure is exerting a force by the circulating blood on the walls of blood vessels, right? Now what happens is that this blood pressure is typically measuring instrument called as sphygmomanometer. So it gives two numbers. One is called as the systolic pressure and another one is called as the diastolic pressure. So here the systolic pressure is a higher number and represents the pressure in the arteries, right? Whereas the heart gets contracted or pumps blood out of the ventricles. Now what happens is that during that phase, ventricular contraction will be taking place and that is known as systole. Okay. And if the diastolic pressure will be considered as a lower number and represent the pressure in the arteries when the heart is at rest and it starts to fill it with blood during the ventricular relaxation. So relaxation is called as the diastolic pressure. So therefore, we would say that the blood pressure of 120/80 mmHg indicates the systolic pressure is 120 during ventricular relaxation and diastolic pressure is 80 mmHg during ventricular contraction. So obviously the answer is going to be B. That is ventricular relaxation and ventricular contraction. Let's see the next question. That is, consider the following statements regarding burning of magnesium ribbon in air. So generally we know that when magnesium ribbon burnt in air, what happens is that it undergoes a combustion reaction, right? So combustion reaction is taking place here. What happens is that it combines with oxygen to form a magnesium oxide, that is MgO. So what happens is that a white powder-like appearance will be seen over here. So this reaction will be producing heat and light, right? Now what happens is that it makes an exothermic reaction. So you should make a clear idea about that. Endo means absorbing and exo means releasing about the heat, right? So therefore all the three statements are said to be correct, right? So 1, 2, and 3 is right. And let's see the next question. Which of the following statements with regard to the reaction given below are correct? So calcium, this is calcium oxide, water, and reacting it forms calcium hydroxide and heat. So we know that when we talk about the statement 1, because quicklime is considered as CaO, that is quicklime is commonly called as CaO, calcium oxide, and it is used for whitewashing of walls as well. When we talk about the statement 3, what happens here is uh, calcium oxide, it starts to react, right? It starts to react with CO2 in air. It is forming a calcium carbonate, right? So what happens is that it is also known as a lime crust or a lime plume, right? So when we talk about the statement 4, here calcium hydroxide is also known as a slaked lime, right? So it is an inorganic compound. So statement 2, when we talk about this cases, here 1, 3, 1 is correct and 3 is correct and 4 is correct. Only the cases of 2 alone is incorrect here, okay? So in the statement 2, the solution of the silicate lime is not commonly used for whitewashing of walls. Why is it? Because it may be used in various applications such as the production of cement and also the treatment of wastewater, and also it is added as an ingredient in some food products as well. So this alone is an incorrect statement. So 1, 3, and 4 are right. So option D is the right answer. And let's see the next question. Which of the following statements with regard to heating of lead nitrate powder over a flame are correct? So the following statements are given. Brown fumes of NaO are released and colorless oxygen gas is released. It is an example of oxidation reaction. It is an example of thermal decomposition used for the production of NO2 gas. Thermal is nothing but the heat, right? So because we know that heating of lead nitrate powder over a flame, right? So here brown fumes of NO2 are released, not NO, right? So you should make a clear cut idea about it. So here it gives colorless oxygen gas is released, not oxygen, right? And the reaction is an example of oxidation. So the reaction, when we talk about the case of thermal decomposition, this lead nitrate, that is Pb NO3 twice, right? So what happens is that it decomposes into an lead oxide, that is PbO. So here it forms a nitrogen dioxide, right? And an oxygen upon heating. Therefore, we could suggest that only 1, 3, and 4 are right. Right? And the statement 2 is incorrect as oxygen gas is released over here. So it is not colorless O gas. Right? Let's see the next question. That is, which one of the following is not an oxidation reaction? So generally we know that oxidation reaction is nothing but adding of oxygen and removal of hydrogen. And here the rancidity is not an oxidation reaction because in a chemical reaction in which all the fats and oils undergo decomposition in the presence of oxygen, right? Which is in a moisture and it will be in enzymes by nature. That will result in the development of unpleasant odor and flavor. So unpleasant or footfall or spoilage of food. It's called as an rancidity. So this process can be slowed down by storing food in airtight containers or by adding antioxidants. So when we open a soda bottle, it is also not a chemical reaction and it does not involve in the oxidation or reduction. So when we talk about the combustion, it is a type of oxidation reaction. So where the fuels like wood, coal or gasoline, they react with oxygen gas to release an energy of light and the form of light as well as heat. So the correct answer is rancidity. So next question is which one of the following is essential for thyroid gland to make thyroxine? So these all comes under the factor of endocrine glands. We all know that iodine is very essential for thyroid gland to make thyroxine, right? So thyroxine is a hormone that which is produced by the thyroid gland. It regulates the metabolism, body's metabolism here. So iodine is required for the synthesis of thyroxine. So therefore, the correct answer is iodine. And the next question is in plant cells, RNA is present in. So generally we know that RNA is nothing but it is a ribonucleic acid. The plant cell, this RNA can be found in multiple locations, that is including nucleus, cytoplasm, mitochondria, chloroplast, and ribosomes. Right. So the correct answer is D. Option is D. That is nuclei, cytoplasm, mitochondria, chloroplast, and ribosomes. Because nuclei, you know that it is controller of the cell, and cytoplasm it is a thing or a substance which is holding all the organelles together, holding the entire one which is present inside the cell. And mitochondria, it acts as the powerhouse of the cell. And you know that chloroplast is a color pigment, right? Chloro color, and ribosomes is nothing but synthesis of proteins. Synthesizing protein, so it is called as the protein factory. The next question is, in the grasses, intercalary meristem is usually located. Intercalary meristem is nothing but a type of meristem which is found in the grass. That family is called as grass family is called as Poaceae. So it is typically located at the base of the leaves, right? This is the right answer because it is responsible for the continuous growth of grass leaves, right? From the base. So the leaves grow. The intercalary meristem adds a new cell to the base of the leaves. So it will allow it to elongate, to move further. So this type of growth is called as the intercalary growth and is different from the apical growth to see in other plants. So this growth occurs at the tip of the stems as well as the roots. Okay. The next question is, xylem is a type of complex tissues and plants for upward conduction of water. Which one of the following xylem tissues consists of living cells? So here the right answer is xylem parenchyma. Why? Because it's that unlike tracheids and vessels, they are all made up of the dead cells. Xylem parenchyma alone contains the living cells. They contain living cells that are involved in the storage, and also it will transfer the nutrients in addition to that of water. So here what happens is that the xylem fibers is also made up of some dead cells and they serve as a mechanical function for the plants. And the next question is, what is the chemical composition of a soda acid type fire extinguisher? So in a soda type fire extinguisher, there are two separate compartments. One compartment contains a solution of sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is nothing but NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate, and water. And the other compartment contains a solution of sulfuric acid and water. It don't consist of sulfuric acid and water. So when this extinguisher is used, two solutions are mixed well and a chemical reaction occurs between a sodium hydrogen carbonate and sulfuric acid. Now what happens is that this reaction produces a carbon dioxide which creates a pressure and starts to propel the solution out of the extinguisher. Now what happens? The carbon dioxide also helps to smoothen the fire by displacing the oxygen from the area around the fire. So the option will be A, that is solution of sodium hydrogen carbonate and sulfuric acid. Next one is, the hydrogen bomb and uranium bomb are based respectively on. Obviously, the answer is going to be fission and thermonuclear fusion. Because while the uranium bomb is used, what happens? Because we know that these are considered as a thermonuclear fission. Because hydrogen bomb is based on a thermonuclear fission and uranium bomb is based on a nuclear fission. So the right option is fission and thermonuclear fusion. So a thermonuclear is nothing but it is differs basically from the atomic bomb. It also utilizes the energy which is released when two light atomic nuclei combine or fuse to form a heavier nucleus. Right? So let's see the next question. Consider the following statements while diluting concentrated nitric acid solution. The statements are the concentrations of hydronium ions, that is H3O, volume starts to increase and water must be added slowly to concentrated acid, and the third statement is acid must be added slowly to water. Which one of the following statements given above are right. So when diluting the concentrated nitric acid, so the concentration when it is added, what happens is that the hydronium ions volume start to decrease. They are not increasing. Understand the question carefully. They are not increasing. They are only decreasing. So therefore, statement one is said to be incorrect statement. So to dilute the concentrated acid, it is always enough to add the acid slowly to water, right? A constant stirring. So what happens is that by adding the water to concentrated acid, they can cause the mixture to form a hazardous in form of hazardous accidents also. So therefore, statement two is correct. Similarly, statement 3 is also correct by adding acid to water. Because slowly, while we are adding, they can prevent the solutions upon from splashing and also causing accidents. So, if the option 2 and 3 only are right. Let's see the next question. Which one of the following is the correct order of pH for the following substances? Because we know that lemon juice is acidic with a pH of around 2. Lemon juice, it is 2. And lead is likely to be alkaline, so it will pH will be 7.4. And coffee, it is acidic with a pH of around 5. And milk of magnesia is going to be with a pH of 10, around 10 or it is 14. Therefore, the correct order of pH from lowest to highest. So it is going to be lemon juice, lead, less than coffee, less than milk of magnesia. So the right answer is C. The next question is which one of the following is not true for anodizing processes? Because we know that uh, in the anodizing process, this aluminum article, right, it is made up of the anode and oxygen is evolved at the anode itself, right, not at the cathode. So what happens is that this cathode will be making an inert material like lead and carbon. So here the option will be C, that is clean aluminum article is the anode and oxygen gas is evolved at the cathode. This is not true for the anodizing processes. Remaining everything is said to be true. The next question is, which of the following statements are true for the reaction of Fe2O3 with aluminum, right? The statements are, it is known as the thermite reaction. The heat evolved is used for welding purpose. Aluminum metal acts as an oxidizing agent and molten iron and aluminum are formed at the end of the reaction. So select the correct answer using the board. So the reaction between Fe2O3 and air. So this is known as the thermite reaction. So this reaction is used for welding purposes, right? Because the large amount of heat which is released during the reaction, heat is released. So in this reaction, aluminum acts as a reducing agent here, right, out of the oxidizing agent, and it also reduces the Fe2O3 to Fe metal. So here it is reducing. So the products of reactions of molten iron and aluminum oxide, right? So it is not molten iron and aluminum, right? So it is option 1 and 3 is the right answer. Last question is naphthalene burns with a yellow sooty flame. This is because the options are carbon to hydrogen ratio is low, there is incomplete combustion, there is excess supply of air, or presence of impurities of nitrogen and sulfur. So why naphthalene burns with a yellow sooty flame? Because it has an incomplete combustion here. Complete combustion. Why? Because incomplete combustion occurs only when there is an insufficient oxygen to burn, right? To burn all the fuel completely. So it is leading to the formation of carbon particles. So carbon particles is nothing but soot, and this carbon monoxide also. So these particles emit visible light as they become incandescent due to the heat of the flame. So it starts to appear yellow in nature. So this is the reason for it. Today's thought is try until you quit trying. I hope you all enjoyed the session today. So keep this as a mantra and keep on learning and stay tuned with us. Be the best and inspire the rest. And if you have any queries and clarifications, please approach our Mission Defense Institute and our next batch, that is upcoming CDS and NDA, that is next batch will be scheduled on this month, that is April 23rd, and the second set of batch of CDSE and NDA will be started on May 15th, right? Uh, Come and make use of the platform, and this is the right platform where you can make your career path and make your choices to achieve your destination and aim high and fly. Thank you, Jay.